Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. I am Graham Hughes. Hello, welcome one and welcome all. In particular, welcome Ivan Ambrose, who has just kicked off the show with a £20 super chat. That is incredibly generous. Thank you so much, Ivan. I can't stay today. It's not the topic because I have final preparatory work for my autism campaign being debated in Parliament today at 11 a.m. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for your support. Oh, it's really lovely, Ivan, and congratulations on that breakthrough that you've made there in Parliament. And all the best, mate. All the best, sincerely, on that issue, which is about the provision for people who are autistic in the event of another pandemic, and looking at lessons that can be learned from the last pandemic and the way that people who were on the spectrum were treated, which wasn't great. Wasn't great, but I think unless you're born with a silver spoon up your arse these days, people just take advantage, don't they? But this is the weird thing. I saw an article today on CNN, and it was talking about how Greece is the best country in the world to retire to. And all I could think is, would be if I was still allowed to retire there. But obviously I'm not, because, I'm a commoner. And all the people who told you to leave the EU, Farage, Tice, Banks, Wigmore, Cummings, Johnson, Rees-Mogg, Gove, Patrick Minford, Isabel Oak shit, all of them went to private fucking school. They all went to private school. And they can all retire to Greece. Still, they've got the money. Rees-Mogg is worth over £100 million. He can retire anywhere he likes. And what about us? We had that taken away. Taken away from us. And there's still people who are like, yeah, thanks. That was the best thing we ever did. There's still people to this day who are like, oh, I loved it when our economy lost, £200 billion a year because of Brexit. Oh, the great days. Oh, yeah, they're still going on. And they will continue to go on until someone grasps the fucking nettle and says, listen, we've got to stop this unholy alliance of posh people and dickheads. It's that joke, isn't it? Did you vote for Brexit? You're either a millionaire or a dickhead. Check out your bank balance to see which one you are. There you go. Anyway, sorry, that's not what I wanted to talk about today. So let's start again. Hello and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. It is Tuesday the 2nd, so I'll move Hans Gruber down to number 2 here on his Nakatomi Plaza fall from a great height. Awesome. It's Tuesday the 2nd of December 2025. You are watching Morning Brew on Politics Social, which today we're going to be talking about social media bans, particularly the one in Australia, which is kicking off on December the 10th. Australia will become the first country in the world to ban under 16s from having accounts on several major social media platforms. This will affect Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, X, Threads, Reddit, Kick, and YouTube accounts, YouTube Kids and WhatsApp. And YouTube accounts, whereas YouTube Kids, which is specifically made for children, and WhatsApp can stay. Now, I disagree with keeping WhatsApp if you're going to get rid of everything else, because anyone can message you on WhatsApp, and that's something that needs to be addressed, which I'll come to later in the show when I talk about what I would do to mitigate the harms of social media. And let's make no bones about it. Social media is fucking harmful. Social media is fucking the mental health of literally billions of people around the planet right now. And it's turning otherwise reasonable people into raging knobheads, because we're not used to this. You've got an entire generation, the older generation, who don't understand the difference between fact and fiction, because it's not their fault. It's just that and it's not everyone, not all boomers, etc. But all their life, they went into a bookshop and it said quite clearly on the sign, fiction, non-fiction, little arrows going different ways. They went to a library, it was fiction, non-fiction. They opened the newspaper, and although newspapers are full of bullshit, if they just blatantly lied about something or someone, they could get into trouble about it back in the day. Now all those guardrails are gone, and people have got to make their own judgment on what is real and what's not real. And some people are really shit at it. Some people are fucking appalling at it because they stopped learning when they were 14 and they left school with no qualifications. And they decided somewhat arrogantly that they knew everything that there was to know about the world and how things work and how facts work and, you know, the ways of actually backing up what you say with some, I don't know, empirical data. Yeah. So yeah, I would be tempted to not just ban social media for the little ones, you know, the under 16s. Maybe we should think about banning it for, like, I don't know, the over 45s. No? Okay. That would include me, by the way. I'm so old. Anyway, so this law is the Online Safety Amendment, Social Media Minimum Age Act of 2024, which kicks off, like I say, next week on the 10th of December. It's amendments to the 2021 Online Safety Act, which was passed with big majorities in both houses. Reasonable steps required rather than a literal hard block. Platforms must show that they are trying to exclude under 16s or face fines up to 50 million Australian dollars, which is about 24 million British pounds per systemic breach. There's going to be no penalties here for teenagers or parents. All legal pressure is pointed at the platforms and not at kids circumventing the rules via VPNs, etc. So, how it will actually work? Age verification sits at the center of enforcement. Methods include phone/email checks or document checks, or facial age estimation from video selfies. They're quite smart, like these age verification. They don't normally accept it if you just draw a beard on yourself. If you're 3 children hiding on each other's shoulders in a trench coat, that doesn't normally work. But also, if you put a static picture in front of your own face, it can see that your eyes aren't moving properly and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there are supposed to be anti-spoofing and liveness checks designed to catch kids using masks or screenshots or pre-recorded video to fake being older than they actually are. The facial age estimation works on skin texture, bone structure to guess age within a band, whereas 15 to 17-year-olds may be forced to upload ID. Enforcement's going to be rolled out in phases with a 1-year transition window for companies to provide reasonable controls. And platforms are already moving. Meta is already warning under 16s that, you know, asking them to download data and preparing for deactivation ahead of this deadline, right? Although fucking YouTube, no, is it Facebook said, you need to download your videos, Graham, because we're going to delete them. It's my big horror scenario on YouTube is that they'll delete all my old videos. But yeah, dating back 20 years. My videos on here go back. But yeah, Facebook recently sent me a message and said, we're going to delete your videos because they take up too much space and we hate you. And I'm like, oh, okay. You have to download them. Okay, can I just go somewhere and just press download all? No, you got to download them one by one. And I'm like, there's hundreds. Yeah, but you got to download them one by one. And there's loads of stuff that isn't me. Do you know what I mean? It's just something else that I've posted. Is there any differentiation between stuff that I actually made myself and stuff that I've reposted from other people? No. Yeah, so not doing that anytime soon. How's it going in the chat? We've got Diz in there. We've got Chris. We've got Liam. We've got Nick in Diff. I opened the Facebook profile purely for managing stuff in Meta Business Suite, and the home feed is absolute hell. I actively avoid it. The algorithm there is hideous. Absolutely. Yovi says, if it recognised bone structure, how will gammons use it, as they're mostly made of mouldy pork? Yeah. I need a solid state drive, says Diz. Yes, a solid state drive. Yeah. I've got some little pills for that. Liam says, first it's big problems if no guardrails. Listen, if you'd like to join in with the chat here, everyone's very reasonable and lovely. And I know that about half of the people who are watching this are not subscribed to the channel. But, even if you're watching this on catch up, even if you're listening to this afterwards on a podcast, on YouTube Music, please give us a like and hit the subscribe button. Give us a subscribe, please. Don't make me beg. And also hit the bell notification icon. That'll let you know when we're going live. Because sometimes we just go live for shit and giggles, and you wouldn't know unless you get a little ping in your pocket. Don't worry, I won't do it too much. Get an external hard drive going. I keep my family photos and videos in case something ever happens to them on cloud or computer. I wish I could show you. My computer down here. I've got nine hard drives plugged into this computer. 9. And they're all at least 2 terabytes. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. All my travel stuff is backed up on hard drives. It's also on tapes, and also on memory cards for the later stuff. Do not worry. I've got backups of backups of backups. The only thing that I would lose if YouTube went the other way is all of these shows. And there's no way I'm downloading all of this because, hard drives are not as expensive as they used to be, but still, it's £100 for a few terabytes, and I'll quickly fill up a few terabytes with all these videos because obviously they're going out in 4K, and they're also I could download them in the lower res, couldn't I? But it's just the time. It's just the time. There's no way I know of in YouTube just to download shitloads of videos at once. And I could have a look, but let's see. If I go into YouTube now, right? I go to YouTube Studio. Maybe it's because I've got all these hard drives plugged into my computer, which is why it's running so slow. I've got another 10 hard drives in boxes. I have a lot of hard drives. I have backups as well. So I've got another load in Liverpool, my parents, so that if this house, anything happens, we flood or whatever, I'll still have the backup of them. I'm a bit obsessed. But yeah, it is very frustrating. And not as much as frustrating as typing in youtube.com and it not going to YouTube. Can you please sort this out for me, please? Oh, there you go. It's through. Jesus, that took too long, didn't it? Let's have a look. We've only got 7 new subscribers in the last 28 days. We've only got 7 new subscribers. Come on, please. If you are watching this, please subscribe. I just want to see just how many videos are on here. Let's go to live channel content, and then I will search across your channel. Okay, Brew. Okay, this is how many Brew videos there are. This is just videos with the word brew in. 737. Oh my god. In fact, if we just get rid of Brew, right? So that's just the morning brews we've done, right? Oh shit. So for live videos over the years on this channel, 2,129. Yeah. That's why I don't want YouTube threatening me and saying, you got to pay us money. You pay us money and then you can keep your things online. I don't really understand this with YouTube, sort of attitude that they've got about stuff like this. Because I kind of think, well, if you've got people who are making money for you, because obviously they take a chunk of the super chats, like, shouldn't I get like YouTube Premium for free? Shouldn't I? You know, if you make above a certain amount for YouTube, surely at that point they go, well, you know, he's making more than £8 a month for us, so let's give him. Yeah, but whatever. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat, Andrew Ray. My last post, anti-papers, just censored again. Oh dear. I'm sorry, Andrew, for you being censored. It's a little angry emoji. Oh dear. It looks like anger from Inside Out. I'm very sorry. If you want me to say something, I'm pretty much free to say whatever I want. So if you want to suggest what I could say, I'll try and work out. If you want to send me a cryptic message. Anyway, you could do a montage of yourself from your first video to your last one. What, of me just progressively getting older? I could make it really, really quick so I look like the guy who drinks from the wrong cup at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, couldn't I? It could be called He Chose Poorly, and it's just me getting older. My beard getting more grey and more wrinkled. But yes. So I'm going to throw in let's do this. I'm going to throw in a hour-long confetti sesh. Confetti! And we're going to just throw in the little celebration things there. So we've got a super chat goal. If we get 10 super chats, any colour. So a quid. Throw a quid. Throw a quid in the idiot. 50p sounds better, but you can't get 50p. So put a quid in the idiot. And eventually we will get, if we get 10 of them from now, we will get confetti going off in the chat, which always makes Diz happy. And me. It makes me happy as well. Go on. Don't you want to make me happy? Go on. You know you want to. So, yeah. So how is this actually going to work? They're going to have email, phone checks, document checks, facial age estimation. And Meta's already telling people to download their data. Snapchat, I believe, is allowing people to hibernate, put their things into hibernation, their accounts into hibernation. You're not supposed to have Snapchat before you're 13. So the idea is you can wait for 3 years and then reactivate. The e-Safety Commissioner has explicitly exempted a list of services which include Roblox, Discord, Steam and Steam Chat, WhatsApp, Messenger, 4chan, Pinterest, Google Classroom, YouTube Kids, etc. This creates a weird situation. Instagram and TikTok are deemed too dangerous, but Roblox and 4chan are considered acceptable for under 16s if they want to use them. 4chan. Parents and online safety researchers are already singling out Roblox and gaming chats as places where children are under serious risk from grooming. And Australian teachers report children as young as 7 chatting with absolute strangers, being asked where they live, with their parents being unaware. And the government's line is social media first, gaming later. Wells says East Safety Commissioner has her eye on Roblox and notes Roblox has already been pushed to tighten safety. But here's a super chat to Sarah. Oh, thank you. £2 super chat. Thank you very much, Sarah. That's very kind of you. And Yuri as well. There you go. Here's a couple of quid for Diz's confetti. Oh, thank you so much. Social media ban in the age of VPN seems optimistic. Yeah. Well, before we get into what we would do, because I do want to have that conversation with you, but hold on that thought for a moment. Let's talk about what happened in Australia, right? South Australia launched an inquiry after the Premier's wife read Jonathan Haidt's The Anxious Generation book and pushed for action. Haidt believed the rising teen mental ill health on smartphones and the collapse of... he blames the rising teen mental ill health on smartphones and the collapse of unsupervised outdoor play. National campaigns have built momentum with News Corp outlets, which is just fucking Rupert Murdoch. I'd never want to be on the same side as Rupert Murdoch. The 36 months campaign highlighting suicide linked to online bullying, plus parental groups demanding action. Federal government under Anthony Albanese has picked it up, and budget funds age verification pilots, and then the government sells it as holding big tech to account and tackling the rewiring of young people's brains, as I like to call it. Legislation was rushed through in late 2024 with relatively little time for submissions. Critics argue it's a blunt instrument designed to look decisive before the 2025 election. Is it an election this year? No, it's surely not. Australian elections. Oh. Yeah, no. Yeah, the federal election was 2025. Well, that's a mistake. Oh, I see. It was because the legislation was rushed through in 2024. Sorry, I read that wrong. I was like, but 2025 has been. That has happened. We are nearly at the end of it. They don't have time to have elections now. But no, it was this was legislation that was rushed through in time for the elections earlier this year. I thought that was wrong. And then we've got communications minister, a woman called Anika Wells, who frames the ban as a moral crusade and saying we stand firm on the side of parents and not the platforms. In a BBC interview that she did, she said that she will not be intimidated by big tech or by legal threats. Tech firms have had 15 to 20 years to sort this out. They didn't, so the government must act. Can't argue with that, actually. So he claims the policy is world-leading and the envy of many countries. He says governments and leaders have been phoning Canberra to ask how to copy it. And from a Washington angle, Trump has previously said he'll stand up to countries that attack US tech companies, because obviously he's in the pocket of US tech companies. He makes all his money through crypto, Bitcoin shit, and NFTs. By the way, he's made $5 billion so far this year now. $5 billion Trump has made. $5 billion. Talking of $5 billion, we got £5 from Ms. Paula Thomas. Graham, there are command line tools to download YouTube videos. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right, actually, Paula. But it does require you to give access, doesn't it, to the program, which scares me. Unless I wrote the program myself, it would scare me a bit. But yeah, you are right. You can do that. I'm sure there's stuff on GitHub that could help me out. So anyway, Australia's e-safety commissioner has previously been called to testify in front of the US Congress, signifying this isn't just a diplomatic spat anymore. But that Wells says in an interview with the BBC, you can't outparent an algorithm. And as a stepdad, I fucking agree with this. I'm a stepdad to two teenage daughters, and trying to monitor their social media use is nigh on impossible. It's very, very difficult. And people who don't have kids perhaps just go, oh yeah, it's easy. You just do this, you just do that. I'm particularly tech savvy. I've been using social media since day one. I was the first generation of MySpace. I was before MySpace. Friends Reunited. I was all over that shit like white on rice. And so now I know what the perils and pitfalls are, but it's very difficult. What do you do when your kid is, all their friends in school have got a phone? Your kid's got to get the bus home on their own. They're 11 years old in the dark because we have daylight savings for some reason. So it's nice and dark in the evening when they come home from school. You're going to have your kid not have a phone. And this will come to what some of you have heard me talk about before, which I think is the solution to this problem. And it's not a catch-all. It's not a magic bullet. It's not a panacea. But I think it's a better idea than what the Australians are doing here. Because I think overall, the Australians got the right idea here, but I think that the actual implementation, I like the idea, but the implementation is all out of kip. This is not the way I would do it. And some people argue that under 18 still drink alcohol despite the law, but that doesn't mean the law is pointless. And so you can apply that same logic to social media access. It just makes it a little bit more difficult. And we know kids are going to circumvent this. It's never going to be 100% watertight. Of course it's not. But then we also had the legal fight back, the teens, the libertarians, in the High Court. The Digital Freedom Project is bringing a High Court challenge on behalf of two 15-year-olds called Noah Jones and Macy Nyland. They claim that the law is grossly excessive and robs young Australians of their implied freedom of political communication. Australia doesn't have a US-style free speech clause. The right is an implied freedom linked to being able to discuss politics and elections. Plaintiffs' arguments are that social media is the modern town square. Banning accounts include teens from public debate and activism. For disabled teens and marginalised teens, online spaces are often their main communication to communities. And also, the law will push usage underground into less supervised, riskier spaces, like 4chan, maybe, and Discord. So the government's response in this is Wells has repeated that the government will not be intimidated by legal challenges or big tech, and the law will start on schedule on December the 10th. And South Australian Premier Peter Malanukas has moved to have the state's pro-ban stance here in the High Court, doubling down politically. And what teens are actually experiencing, the newspapers, CNN, Guardian, the BBC, have been speaking to creators and influencers and refuseniks. So you've got creators who have built followings to promote their music. They now face, that losing that reach overnight, and they're forced to migrate to the non-banned apps like Lemonade to keep any kind of fan base. There is going to be a game of whack-a-mole that's going to be played here, where they're trying to get rid of certain online social media apps, but then a new app will appear the next day for kids to pick up on, and they will pick up on them very, very quickly. That's a worry. You've got influencers who've got tens of thousands of followers, and they're already sharing tips on how to bypass age checks using their parents' emails, addresses, etc. And they are starting a petition to lower the age limit to 13. And and then you've got refuseniks who have already given up. They deleted the social media apps after they realised they couldn't stop scrolling, and now they're at a phone-free leadership camp, one of them called Maxine, who's 14. She describes her offline experience as the most vivid and animated she's ever experienced. I get this. I absolutely get this. I use TikTok probably too much, but then I like to see what my mates are posting. The Your Friends feed is really useful for me, just to see what people are talking about in my friend group. But also, I don't want to be doing the same video that Femi's just done, or Max or Phil or someone like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be repeating what they say. I suppose Phil's not really on TikTok, but I watch his videos here on YouTube. But as far as Facebook and Blue Sky and Threads are concerned, I try and use them as little as possible, which has people pulling their hair out, because there's like 24 different ways of bloody contacting me across social media. Like, everything's got its own message app, hasn't it? Then you've got Telegram, then you've got WhatsApp, then you've got what's the other one that everyone uses? I don't know. I've got these different groups and different things, and I'll find a message that someone sent me like 2 weeks ago, and I feel really bad for not getting back to people. They must feel like I've ghosted them, and it's not. It's just, actually, if you want to get in touch with me, get on grahamdavidhughes.com and send me a message. I will get that. I absolutely will get that. Please don't write it in Russian. But if you got my phone number, you can get me on WhatsApp. But apart from that, like, I don't always read the comments on these videos. I'll try and read as many of the comments that are coming up in the live chat. But after the video's gone out, I'm a bit loath to get into an argument with someone, because I know no one's going to see it. Like, what's the point? It's a waste of my time. I'm not. And there's no chance to get any super chats on a wittily put together response. And I get really affected. Like, if I read something that's just bullshit, my northern bullshit detector goes off. Also, my need to correct mistakes and fix things that are broken comes into play, and I get a bit obsessive compulsive about it. I'm like, I've got to respond to this, and I have in the past, and I'm sure some of you watching this might empathize with this situation. I've literally woken up in the middle of the night and opened my phone to literally reply to someone, because my brain works at night. Something I do is if I'm working on a cryptic crossword and I'm stuck on a puzzle on one of the answers, I'll I'll read it just before I go to sleep, and then I'll wake up in the morning. It doesn't always work, but I'll have the answer. I'll have the answer in my head. It was like I watched Pluribus, and I was going to sleep thinking Pluribus. Where do I know that word? Pluribus. And I woke up and I just knew that it was pluribus unum, which was the old motto of America before they changed it to "In God We Trust" in the 1950s because of the commie scare. And I woke up and it was like the first thing I said to Kat in the morning. She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" But yeah, I will wake up in the middle of the night and respond to people who I've read their message on a social media thing. And one of the best things I've ever done for my mental health is just get off Twitter. Get off that motherfucking thing. It just sucks your life force from you. It's a fucking vampire. It's an absolute vampire. It's really grim. It's really grim. Consoles are literally optimized in a certain way, says Liam. Out of all the social media accounts I have, practically none of them have my real name on them. Yeah, and that's another thing, Nick. I mean, I can't even use Facebook for my personal stuff like I used to. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got not a particularly large public presence, but there are people who gun for me because I've put my head above the parapet and said Brexit is bollocks and Nigel Farage is fucking human form of gonorrhea. And people will go after me, and I don't want them then going after Kat. I don't want them going after my family and abusing them. And so, yeah, I have quite a sort of public Facebook account, which I tend not to try and put out there too much, personal stuff that I'm doing, which is sad because I want to share that personal stuff with me mates. Yeah, I like having these WhatsApp groups where I can just share stuff that I just want to talk to my mates about. I don't care about the opinion of some random motherfucker who's going to jump on and go, I hate you because you're ginger and you're bald and you love Keir Starmer. Kid Starver, Keith, you love Keith. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Other people who said to me, I bet you love Jeremy Corbyn. And I'm just like, you don't know me. None of my friends, none of my family, no one who's ever known me for 5 minutes would ever say that to me. Bet you love Jeremy Corbyn, don't you? No, in fact, quite the opposite. I hate the motherfucker. I really fucking hate him. More than you can possibly know. But that's another story for another day. And that's why I try not to talk about him too much on this channel. I just call him the previous leader of Labour, because otherwise he just gets up my nose too much. But, he's the Messiah. He's going to save the world. He's going to save the world. Anyway, yeah, so back to people who are worried in Australia that they'll lose support networks, special interest communities, and disability-focused groups that have been built on these mainstream platforms. And young people don't fit neatly into the victim or addict boxes. Most people have the same as me, a messy, ambivalent relationship with social media. And then you've got the parents and the experts and the real politic of this, the messy reality on the ground. Surveys suggest around 2/3 of parents support the ban in principle. But the expert advice is don't try and sell the ban to your kids. Acknowledge it. It is a loss. Teens mainly want their parents to listen rather than fix it, and keep the conversation going during shared activities. Car rides, walks, dinner, not just formal sit downs, which are weird and make kids feel awkward. And boundaries that actually help. Devices out of bedrooms, family-wide tech rules like no phones at the dinner table. We have in this house a no phones at the dinner table rule, and that includes me and Kat. So sometimes I'll be trying to prep for a show or something. I can literally have to leave it because we're eating, and that's the rule. We don't want to set a bad example for the kids. We just say, that to all of us. Like, it would be no good if I'm sitting there, under the table playing Pokemon Go while the girls can't actually use their phones. Bit hypocritical. Not that I play Pokemon Go anymore because it was bought by the fucking Saudis. That's sad, isn't it? Oh well, I've got other things to do at my time now. I just submitted a script actually this morning to the BBC Open Writers thing. I do this every year one day, maybe they'll go, this guy can, I like the cut of this guy's jib. This guy can really write. Get him on the phone, or whatever they say in the BBC. But it is kind of depressing that that's the only way in. It's the only way in. And like, I stand a better chance than most. No, not most. Yeah, than most. Because I am middle class. And I'm white. And I'm well educated. And I've got a degree. And it's all supposed to be, they're supposed to read these scripts blind. You got to scrub your name off them. But what fucks me off is like only 8% of people working in film and TV in this country are working class. Only 8%. When you're filling out the form, it's all like, keep it anonymous as possible. I'm like, well, how can I tell you? I went to every country in the world without flying. That's going to sort of narrow it down a little bit, but which is, relevant to the fact I wrote a book about it. What was your book about? Well, me. But yeah, it's got a section there for your agents details. And I'm like, who the fuck has agents? Kids who went to private school. That's who has agents. Every one of them. Even the ones who aren't famous, don't do anything. When you go to private school, you get an agent. That's what you get. Straight out of private school. Because you probably went to private school with them. They're probably your mate, from school, who you wanked into a hat with. I don't know. Graham has a very impressive hat. Thank you, Nick Chat. That is very kind of you. Chris says, I believe parents should take more interest in their child's online world. However, I firmly believe the owners should be with the social media companies to properly manage their platforms. Yeah. In all fairness, Instagram is focusing on human interactions these days. If you show your personality and the content does better than clickbait nonsense, people do crave human interactions. Yeah. Cumby says, thing is, though, parents are also the issue. Children imitate their parents, where the parents spend more time on their phones to treat them as our parents treated us, TV with us, so we get babysitter. Yeah, but they get to an age, and this is another thing, it's like, we used to do family stuff all the time. Like, we watched TV together, which meant I saw a lot of fucking Peppa Pig and In the Night Garden and, over the years, Frozen and stuff like that, and Zendaya in Casey Undercover and all that kind of stuff. I've seen every fucking episode of that show. Jesus Christ. And we used to watch it, and it was a bit of a bore, because it was kind of, I don't want to watch these kid shows. Gravity Falls. I'd watch that all day and all night. That is one of the best shows of all time. But aside from that, we watched Futurama together, which I fucking love. But some of the more kid shows or teen shows that I never really took to. But at the same time, it was nice to just all be together and chatting on the couch and watching these shows together. Now, and then, the eldest is doing the GCSE mock, so she spent a lot of time revising and stuff, but she spent a lot more time in a room, which I did, as a teen. When I was her age, I was up playing on my Commodore Amiga, playing Oh No More Lemmings until fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't even see me fucking parents. I'd come in from school. I'd race upstairs to play, Supercars 2 or Speedball 2. Ice cream, or God knows, Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. I would run upstairs and be in my bedroom the whole time, So at least we got a bit more time than my parents got with me when I was that age, being a boy. And also, I was out more, I guess. And it's more difficult to go out these days for younger people. It's which is sad. We're more surveilled than ever. There's CCTV cameras on every fucking lamppost. The serial killing has gone right down. If someone means you harm, it's generally someone that you know. It's not going to be a stranger. And kids have got phones on. They got tracking devices on them everywhere they fucking go. You keep an eye on the little fuckers. But like never before. And yet, the opportunities for going out and exploring are diminishing by the day for children in this generation. It's not their fault. It's absolutely not their fault. Still say In the Night Garden Aliens crossover would be good. Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it? Get away from her, you bitch. To the tumbly wumblies or whatever they were called. The Chris says that's what confused me the most. There are lots of parental control software available for free that not only managers think things kids can do, but also reports their usage. Yeah, we use that as well. But again, like we know how long they're on TikTok. Do you think? Sorry, on YouTube, for example, right? So we set a certain amount of time they're allowed on YouTube each day. It's like, let's say it's 25 minutes, right? They're allowed on YouTube, on the app of YouTube. But then they go onto Google Chrome, and then they go into YouTube on Google Chrome, and then they have another 25 minutes, and then they go into incognito mode, or they go onto Edge or Safari or Mozilla Firefox and watch a bit more there. They find ways around it. They always will. And this is why I'm going to come to, what I think my solution is. But let's just talk a little bit more about the sort of the ban risks giving parents a false sense of security, but kids will still have access to games, to messaging apps, and other things that these social media ban doesn't cover. And some people have argued this is over punitive, and no internet responses can damage trust and drive behavior further underground, to darker places of the internet. And there's going to be a likely displacement. Like I've said, what are kids going to do now? Well, they can't use Snapchat. So what are they going to do? They're going to go to Discord. They're going to go to Roblox Worlds. They're going to, send encrypted messages, fringe forums. There's a whack-a-mole problem, like I've mentioned earlier. That clamp down on TikTok and Instagram, kids pop up on smaller, less regulated platforms. And the legal challenge, plaintiffs argue that pushing teens off mainstream sites removes the visibility that teachers, parents, and moderators currently have. And the social division risk as well, split between the rule followers who lose access and more privileged, tech-savvy kids who keep using social media via workarounds and VPNs. VPNs exist. The international stakes here about copycats and trade tension and precedent. The UK, the EU, Ursula von der Leyen has already praised Australia's approach. The EU is talking about tougher child safety rules online. The Online Safety Act in the UK already threatens huge fines for harmful content. Is likely to lean harder into age verification and duties of care for platforms in the coming years. Malaysia is planning similar under 16 social media ban from 2026, explicitly referencing Australia's approach. And in the US, over 20 states have tried their own children and social media laws. Many have been blocked or watered down by the courts because obviously the tech companies are very rich and you can buy justice in America. So, it's all good. Trump has signaled that he will defend US tech firms, as I've said. And if Australia's law survives the High Court, it could become a global precedent that other governments can point to if they want to clamp down on big tech, or it could become something that big tech points to as a failure, that they tried this and it didn't work. I just want to talk a little bit about Australia. I used to live in Australia. I had an Australian girlfriend for over 10 years. Australians like to portray themselves as these laid back people, beach, Barbie, no worries, mate, friendly, relaxed. Well, the reality, having lived there, is that they are rules heavy and fines happy. They are strict policing on drinking. You cannot go on a pub crawl in Australia. Pub crawls are banned. If it looks like you've had a drink, you are not allowed in another bar. You've got to stay in the bar you have got into. If you come out of a bar, a noisy bar, to make a phone call, even if your coat is still in the bar, they won't let you back in if you've had a drink in the bar that you're in. It's infuriating. They have very strict rules on driving. Like, for instance, you have to park your car on the correct side of the road, which you don't have to do in the UK. Park anyway the fuck you want in the UK. I don't think anyone's ever got a ticket for parking their car facing the wrong way in a line of cars at the side of the road. Maybe if you parked on the wrong side of a road that you weren't supposed to park on, perhaps. But yeah, they like the cars all nice and neat in a line. You've also got border control in Australia, which is a fucking nightmare after 24 hours of a flight via Qatar or Singapore or Hong Kong or Kuala Lumpur, and you finally arrive in Australia and you're bedraggled. You don't know what time zone you're in. Have you woken up as a different person? You don't know. and they ask you what your name is and what you're doing there and give you fucking 20 questions. You're not going to work here, are you? No, you're not allowed to work. I'm not going to work, mate. I'm going to come here for a few months and then I'm going to fuck off back to where I came from. All right. Yeah, the queuing and we talk about the British loving to queue. Australia loves to queue as well. They really do. And they're very funny about it. They have beaches that are just for the locals, local beaches. And if you go there and surf, they will beat the shit out of you for going and surfing. I do think there is a Nick Cave film about this very phenomenon. Yeah. The lived reality of Australia is there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of rules. They are not as we're more laid back than they are in this country, if you can believe that. They have a culture of high-vis uniforms, warning signs, and compliance that sits very it sits uneasily with their sort of international brand of like chill. But this ban fits that pattern. It's presented as common sense, parental support, looking after kids. In practice, it is a big state control measure. This is big government setting a national age limit and forcing private companies to directly police identity, behavior, speech even. And this, to me, makes them appear tough on control, but I think that this is going to be a bit of a leaky sieve moment. I'm not sure. And this is why I'm going to come to what I think they should do. And if you want to put into the chat what you think they should do or what we should do or what people should do in general around the world. But I am broadly pro-protection. I'm anti-panic. I am anti-stuff that won't work. And I can see a million ways around this ban in Australia. It will help some kids and it might make things worse for others. And I agree that online harms are fucking real, right? And it's not just the harm from social media, of bullying, peer-to-peer bullying, but also you have stuff like Roblox, which allows predators to get online and message children as young as 7 who are using Roblox. This is a real issue. WhatsApp allows anyone with a phone to message a child who gets their child's phone number. So if you are a member of a WhatsApp group as a kid and one of the kids in the group has an uncle who is a sexual predator, they might get your phone number out of their phone and then send you messages pretending to be someone else, and grooming children in this way. It is a slippery slope, a really fucking slippery slope. So, what I don't think that this is a blanket ban on certain social media platforms is going to work. I don't think it's a smart fix. Why? Because it's going to be whack-a-mole. As I've said, you're going to ban certain big companies like Facebook from allowing access to under 16s, but then at the same time, you're going to allow these smaller companies that aren't named in the bill to crop up. There's going to be Facebook and FaceLook and FaceTuck and and kids are going to get onto it. Well, kids don't use Facebook anyway, but that's not the point. They're going to get on other versions of Snapchat and Instagram. And this is something that I don't think there is a way around this, because what we are doing is we are giving adult phones to children. And I think that's mad. I think we should have kid phones. That's it. You're a kid, you get a kid phone. Up to the age of 16, you have to, by law, if you have a phone, it's a kid's phone. What's a kid's phone? A phone that literally cannot allow any other apps than the ones that it comes with on it. What apps does it come with? Which you can delete and get back on if you want to, but there are like 10 apps that are sanctioned to be able to use on these particular devices, and only they will work. You cannot jailbreak these devices. Do you understand? It'll be like trying to get something that is made for Android to work on an Apple phone. It is not going to work. Okay, it's simply not going to work. You download the Apple version of that app, you download the Android version of that app, and then you can download the junior version, the kids version of that app. How different is the kids version? Well, it doesn't allow strangers to contact you. Simple as that. If you have WhatsApp Junior, no one can send you a message unless their phone number is already stored in your phone. So you have to go up to someone and say, "Can I have your phone number, please?" in real life. And they go, "Okay, here's my phone number." And you put it into your phone. And I know there might be ways around this. I know that, there's certain things that can be done in order to circumvent these things. But I think that this would take the pressure off the social media companies because they can't be asked dealing with this shit. Take the pressure off the parents. Take the pressure off the kids. Because they will have a device that simply will not, under any circumstances, allow them to access adult Snapchat or adult Facebook or adult Roblox. It will not allow them to go online and surf any website that they want. It will not allow them to go beyond a certain set of prescribed websites that they are allowed to go on. Pre-prescribed, I guess. That you are allowed to go on. That is it. It just doesn't work. It just literally doesn't work. It blocks it. And yeah, people will try and download VPNs to work on these devices, but those VPNs will be illegal. And if Google allow people to download those VPNs from Google's App Store, or if Apple allow people to download those programs from Apple Store, then Apple or Google get into shitloads of trouble, or Samsung or wherever the store is from get into shitloads of trouble. You've allowed children to download these things to the phones that are just for children. That is the way I would do it. And I know that this is not a panacea. I know it's not going to stop absolutely everything, but I think this is a better solution than what they're doing in Australia. I would call it a hardware solution, and it is simply you give people a Nintendo 64 and you go, "This isn't going to play Sega games." That's it. It's not going to play PlayStation games. It just won't. It can't. Doesn't know how to. Completely different fucking programming language. So that's how I would do it. Anyway. And yeah, kids are smart. They'll find ways around it, but it's a better idea than this, I think. I could be wrong. But, legally mandated children's phones, devices that cannot be jailbroken or flashed with custom firmware. They only run the child versions of Snapchat, Roblox, WhatsApp, etc. Do not allow unsolicited messages from unknown adults or unknown anyone. Anyone. You have to have the number in your phone. You have to have that contact in your phone for anyone to message you. And there's ways of doing this. Like, look at Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go would be a safe thing to put onto these phones, right? Because when you make friends with someone, you don't know anything about them. Like, that you cannot send them any messages. You can send them presents that you collect along the way, but you can't write to them. You can't send them messages. You just can't. This would block adult content at an OS level, not at an app level. The OS, the operating system, would not allow adult content. So instead of having an OS that allows adult content and then just hoping that these apps won't appear that allow children to access that, you're getting rid of it at the operating system. And puts the burden on the phone manufacturers and app developers, not on individual parents or kids, or even the fucking makers of the social media platforms. And you could regulate addictive design. You could stop, infinite scroll. You can stop loot boxes. You can stop nudging notifications. You can stop streaks. One of the big problems they have with Snapchat is they have streaks. So you got to use it every day or you lose your streak. So get rid of that. Make that, that's not part of the under 16s version. And you have a separate under 16 experiences on platforms tied to stricter data collection rules and stricter advertising rules. From this, everything stems. You say, okay, instead of allowing these kids to have Facebook or not allowing them to have Facebook, we allow them to have Facebook Junior. Not that they're going to use Facebook because kids don't use Facebook, but Snapchat then or TikTok, right? They have TikTok Junior, and that allows them to watch certain videos but blocks other videos on there. And so we need to get into a conversation about this, I do think, because I think you're going to sort of disagree with me or agree with me on certain things. But I don't know if Australia is bravely leading the way there, or is this a giant social media experiment on kids without their consent? And does cutting teens off the mainstream platforms make them safer or just less visible? And what do you think of the child phone? Only phones idea. I'm sure some of you are going to go, but there's holes in your argument, Graham. But if they can only have certain apps on there, and if they don't have that, like Nintendo, right? So when Nintendo on the Game Boy, you used to have Nintendo coming down at the beginning when you put the game in. That was to stop people making their own cartridges for the Nintendo Game Boy. There was a chip in there that just said, if it doesn't say Nintendo when that comes down, if the code doesn't match, if you get a block instead, then the game won't run on a Game Boy. And I'm sure somebody jailbroke their Game Boy and got around it somehow. But now by then, we'd moved on. We were all on Game Boy Colors by then. Bolskov says, it's surprising me not one bit that Australia was so protectionist. After all, News Corps titles campaigned against ninjas. Ninjas? Foreigners laugh when you tell them we've had Teenage Mutant Turtles. Well, yeah, we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles here in the UK, didn't we? Because they didn't want to wear ninja in there because they thought kids would dress up as ninjas and stab each other in the head. Nick and Div said, I'd argue that Twitter just shoves the worst news articles in your feed, whether you want them or not. I stick to news sources I originally found on Twitter who I trust, like bylines. Yeah. How about collective pressure applied to companies who advertise on social media companies to pull their advertising or face boycotts? Surely a loss of revenue would force social media change. Yeah, but I don't know, Chris, because like social media is shit. Like that's some. I think that's kind of like separate. I think that's kind of like why we would stop using Twitter or why we would stop using, like we would as adults. But when you're talking about kids and the harms that they are being exposed to by a system that is set up to expose them to harms, really. I think that's something that we need to do. Can you make a mobile phone detect and block porn? Well, you don't need to make it detect it, but if you have a phone that doesn't allow access to the free fall on the internet, so you do have a version of Google Chrome or whatever your browser is, but that browser only has a list of 100 websites that you're allowed to go to. That's it. You're allowed to go to those 100 websites. If you go somewhere else, and you could get on that list as a website by applying to say this is children-friendly content, or it's educational content, or whatever it is. But when you think about it, how many websites do you use these days? Compared with how it used to be, it's fuck all. You could have forced it through Ofcom, who could limit access unless you are verified as an adult. I despair when I hear my mates' kids at 9 and 10 years old saying how much they want a mobile phone. Depressing, says Nick and Diff. Well, yeah, the problem is, Nick, is if all their mates in school have mobile phones and they're all in WhatsApp chats, chatting to each other and organising trips to the park or the supermarket or whatever kids do these days, they're left out. And it's a form of bullying almost, because it's like, oh, we would have invited you to the party, but you're not part of our WhatsApp group. I didn't get a phone that allowed social media till I was at least 14, 15 years old. Was one of the reasons I got bullied in secondary school. Again, one angry pagan. I'm sorry that happened to you. But having junior phones would allow kids to be able to communicate with each other and parents to be able to communicate with their kids and kids to use certain apps that have been restricted, versions of the apps that have been restricted, that can't be jailbroke. I mean, there are ways of doing this. It's a bit like thinking that you could get Facebook and turn it into Twitter. Okay, by jailbreaking. It's magical thinking. If you make a separate program that isn't compatible with original Facebook, it's written on in a different fucking language, then it's a way of doing it, isn't it? Market scale limited uses will mean limited component requirements, which make them cheap. If the EU and the UK did it together, that is a market of scale that will make these phones cheap. Yeah. Simon says, how about an online safety once a week lesson for schools 5 to 9 years old, teach as part of social media and disinformation alongside child's phones? Yeah, we need that as well. Definitely. Andy says, might be eventually cheap, but the manufacture and development will be expensive. They're going to want that back. Yeah, but it's going to be a quids in for them because they're going to sell more phones. Every kid will want one. I mean, it's like going, do you want to make a new toy that every child in the world will want? Yeah, okay. Well, it's going to take a bit of R&D. Yeah, okay, but you did say that every child in the world is going to want one of these, yeah? And in fact, governments around the world are going to make it mandatory that children, like, if they want a phone, these are the phones they're allowed to have. Apple needs to make one, Samsung needs to make one, Sony needs to make one, Google Pixel needs to make one. Andrew, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. I had paid blue sub to Twit, so-called vote on opinions, but saw that the cons by Elon bias. I quit the day Trump got in, never been back or thread since. Yeah. Thanks very much for the super chat, Andrew. We have 20 minutes left for another... Oh, no, shit. We've only got 15 minutes left for another 6 super chats. Ooh, we might not make it. If we can, it'd be good. Might be eventually cheap, but the manufacture and development will be expensive. I've read that one. Who would get to decide what's included on those lessons? You would get parents complaining they don't want their kids learning a specific thing. Well, yeah, I mean, Chris, you get that about anything. Parents always fucking complain. That's all that parents do. Yeah, but the various cult parents who don't want little Elijah learning about other cults. And Bowl says, as a parent of a 13-year-old, they tell you from reception they get online safety lessons. Yes, they do. Safety sessions. They do get them. Graham, most Samsung Galaxy devices have a children's mode built in that does everything you just mentioned. It's not widely known about. Chris, yeah, but it's not. I'm saying that the device needs to be a junior version. From the OS in the device needs to be a junior version. So it's not just a case of, we have Google Family here, so we can check what the kids are doing, how long they're spending online, and what apps they're using and stuff like that. We can check all that. We can read all their WhatsApp messages if we want to. We don't, but we could if we wanted to. Yeah, I mean, we do what we can. We do what we can, but our lives would be made so much easier if we knew that our kids, and it's stressful. It's stressful knowing that at any moment a predator might text one of our kids, or they might see something crop, that one of the stupid mates sends them, crop up on their phone, a disturbing fucking message or a disturbing picture. And that'll be another thing that you couldn't do on WhatsApp. You couldn't send pictures. That's it. You can't send pictures. It's fine. You can send stickers. You can send animated fucking GIFs, whatever, but you cannot send pictures because too many children are sending pictures of themselves naked to strangers, and then the stranger turns around and says, right, that's it. I'm gonna extort you for money. This happens all the time. We need to do something about it. And this is a way of doing something about it. You have the WhatsApp Junior app, and yeah, you can send each other funny stickers, and you can send each other funny gifts and stuff like that. But you cannot send each other pictures or videos. That's it. I don't know. That's a bit shit and taking away a few fun things that you can do on WhatsApp. But I think that the harm that can be done outweighs the need for children to be able to have access to this. Don't forget, we couldn't send pictures to each other on the phone in the 80s when I was growing up. Martin, halfway there. Thank you very much to Martin for the £2 super chat, getting us halfway there. And Sid has been a member for 1 month. Welcome, Sid. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Welcome. You're awesome. Okay, so let's pop over to the papers. There's how much education do kids get on mobile phones, social media, in school? Anything? Yeah, they do get quite a lot, actually. But when you talk to your kids about it, they're a bit like, yeah, we did this in school. And I'm like, yeah, but you need to know. But yeah, parents can't keep up. Yes, that is the big problem. We can't keep up. I can barely keep up with my own social media use. Never mind, and what's going on in the world from one day to the next. Never mind what the kids are doing as well. So yeah, it gives us a little bit of a guardrail. Take it down to. I mean, I don't even want to just take it down to the OS. I want to take it down to the hardware, the actual chips in the phone. Like if you want to jailbreak this, you've got to take it somewhere where they have specialized equipment that can actually change the fucking motherboard on a phone. And to do that, you can't do that with a soldering iron like you could with an old, Nintendo NES. You just couldn't do it, right? With a phone. Look at me soldering iron out. Just put these pins together. We're sorted. Just put a little wire from pin 8 to pin 1. I'm jailbreaking. It's not gonna work like that. React sets it following rather than for you. Also, if you go to the notification tab and click on the blank part, it'll open the post tab that only shows posts on social media you set accounts for. Those vile images that children are forced to take of themselves are traded amongst other predators and remain online forever, says Chris. Yeah. And my plan would stop them. Okay. You just wouldn't be able to do them, at least not on WhatsApp. And like I say, you would have a list of apps that are made by big companies, right? Keep the big companies on side that work on these phones, right? And you do what Nintendo did. You have a code that, an algorithm that only these companies are privy to. They're the only companies allowed to make the social media stuff for these phones. So say there's 40 apps, there's 100 websites on the list. Companies can apply to get on the list to be on kids' phones, but they have to prove that what they're putting online is safe and these apps are safe to children and they can't be exploited in any way. And also, this would create a barrier between people who are anonymous, weirdo motherfuckers on Roblox at the moment who message children. They wouldn't get access to that. So yeah, I think that's the way that we need to do this. The Guardian survey proves that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. Yeah. Also, you'd have a problem with adults buying these phones so they can try and message kids. So you've got to take that into consideration as well. But hopefully the way that the apps are put together, it won't allow anonymous messaging. It can only be within your friend group who you know in real life. So maybe it could be the case of you literally have to touch phones with someone else who's got a phone in order to share details with them so you can contact them in the future. We need confetti, says Sid. I agree. We need confetti. We need 4 more super chats to get confetti. We've got 10 minutes. That was 10 on the knocker when I said 10 minutes. We've got 10 minutes to get 4 more super chats, and then we will get confetti, and then Diz will be very, very happy. Okay, so I'm going to go to the papers. Should we go to the papers? Here we go. OBR boss quits after PM's budget leak rebuke. Early publication was Watchdog's worst failure. Clever boys aren't jealous, guys, when it comes to love. Clever men long have a reputation for being good with abstract problems and poor with romantic feelings. From Sherlock Holmes to Sheldon Cooper, in The Big Bang Theory, popular culture is, I can't believe they've lumped in Sherlock Holmes with the weird sex pest that is Sheldon Cooper. Popular culture is fond of men who can crack cases or solve equations, yet come unstuck when faced with matters of the heart. Researchers in the United States have analysed the attitudes of and abilities of 202 heterosexual men, all of whom have been in a relationship for at least 6 months. They found that a particular strain of intelligence tended to be linked to healthier romantic life, the capacity for fluid reasoning, which involves spotting patterns and completing sequences. Men who scored higher on these kinds of tests were more likely to have insulted their partners, displayed jealousy, or have resorted to controlling mate retention tactics, such as making a lover feel guilty to try and keep hold of them. But hang on, I don't understand that. The headline says, clever boys aren't jealous, guys, when it comes to love, and men who scored higher on these tests tended to be less likely to have insulted their... Oh, sorry, I missed the word less out there. Fuck me. Sorry. Welcome. You are awesome. I read that wrong. Sorry. Oh, and subscribe as well. Subscribe. That's automatic. Going off there. Press the bell notification icon if you subscribe yet. Sorry, I read that wrong. Less likely. So smarter people are less likely to resort to jealousy or controlling behavior. They also express more commitment to their relationships and less likely to report erectile dysfunction and displayed fewer signs of psychopathic tendencies. There you go. Feel good being clever now. Chris, thank you very much. Develop a kid's phone without the cameras built in. Instantly solves the issue of them being exploited by predators looking for vile images. Very good idea, Chris. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. There you go. You just don't have a phone built in. If you want a picture taken, go with a parent who's got a grown-up phone. They can take a picture of it. Or have a separate camera that's not compatible with your phone. Yeah, agreed. Hard agree there. And thank you very much for the super chat. We now have 7 minutes. We've had 7 super chats. We've got 7 minutes to get 3 more super chats. Whoop, whoop. So back to the papers. Boost for patience as Britain and US agree zero tariff drug deal. Zero tariff drug deal. That sounds great, doesn't it? Imagine meeting your dealer in the back alley. And they're like, sorry, we've got to put a bit of, there's a deal here to be had, you know. Okay, we've got to put a bit of tariff on this. We've got to put the prices up. Why? Oh, Trump's tariffs, prices up. Of your narcotics. Justice for the lost victims. Cops consider corporate manslaughter charges over sub-postmaster death. Police covering corporate manslaughter charges in cases where the post office staff took their own lives in the Horizon scandal. Yeah, do it. Fucking do it. Fucking do it. How come in Hong Kong the building is still on fire and they are arresting people? Here, it's like Grenfell was what? 7, 8 years ago? 8 years ago, Grenfell. 8 fucking years ago. 8 years ago, and there's still no one in court, no one standing trial, nothing. Even though the people who built it, the people who put the cladding on, the people who own the building, everyone is culpable, and they should all be in fucking jail for what they did. The Daily Mail, a government with no shame, which is funny coming from a newspaper with no shame. But first of all, we're gonna go to George Only, who's put £5 super chat confetti. Oh my God, George, you haven't fallen off a cliff, have you? Maybe he was dictating. You're not extroverts, are you? Yes, I'm an extrovert. I'm extroverted. I don't take photos with digital SLR and have an MP3 player for my music. I refuse to use one device for everything, says Martin. I think you gotta have loads of different things in your pockets. Oof. Plus, for US parents, those phones are pretty much bulletproof. yeah, get a massive phone that you can put on your kid. One on the front, one on the back. If they're American, I hope they get this shot in the head. Okay, so back to the papers. The full guide for Reeves' budget lies. Tories accuse Chancellor of using the OBR chief to expose truth about her financial black hole as a human shield as she forced out over elite roads. Well. Non-story that the newspapers are still trying to peddle. We said that it was going to be a really bad budget. We said that the interest rates were going to go up by 2%. And the government's like, yeah, but we didn't. Yeah, but we said that the newspapers said it. The newspapers said it. And now you're making us look bad because that didn't happen. I'd love to talk to Phil about this. It's going to be an interesting conversation on Friday because this is what he said they should do. He said Labour should make it look like they were going to put up taxes and then not put up taxes and make the newspapers look stupid. But you see what happens when you make the newspapers look stupid? They go on about a lie that was never said. Never said. In fact, it was up to Rachel Reeves to give a press conference. She didn't have to do that. And if anything, it was a lie by omission. But it wasn't because she wasn't supposed to tell anyone about what was going to go into the budget before the budget was announced to Parliament. The Speaker gets very pissed off when you announce government policy in anywhere else but Parliament first. Parliament has the privilege. They should hear about it first. Hey, listen, we've got 3 minutes left and we need 2 super chats. So if you're very quick, you might get in under the radar and we will get confetti. And Hans Gruber here will be very happy on the second there. Did you know Sheldon and Leonard were named after TV executive Sheldon Leonard, who had a small role in It's a Wonderful Life? No, I didn't. I don't like the Great Big Bang Theory, whatever it's called. Oh my God! Jesus Christ! I'm going to feel really bad now. Tinkernace is a huge fan of the show. We have just, ladies and gentlemen, we have just got a verified hyper chat! Oh yes, we have with £100. Oh my God. Tinkernator, I bet you £100 that Andy Burnham will be the next Labour leader. The affiliated unions and membership won't back Wes Streeting and no one else can credibly win, I feel. Bookies have Burnham at 14-1, but I think they are wrong this time. I have a good feeling about this prediction. Tinkernator, I love you. Thank you so much. I'm going to launch it now ahead of schedule because £100. OMG. Thank you. Confetti! 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 We did it! Woo! Thank you so much, Tinkanator. Right. Okay. Tinkanator. Here's the thing. I agree with you. So I'm not going to take that bet. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give you £100 back. Do you want your £100 back if Andy Burnham wins? I agree. I think that Andy Burnham will win the next. I think he will be the next leader. One way or another, he is very popular, and I don't like West Streeting. So yeah, wishful thinking perhaps. It'll be nice to have a Scouser as leader of the country, as Prime Minister. The first Scouse leader since Gladstone? William Ewart Gladstone? Was he the last Scouser to be Prime Minister? I don't know. I'm gonna look that up now. Tinkanator for you. I'm gonna look it up. Prime Ministers from Liverpool list. There was a Lord Liverpool who was Prime Minister, and Wellington was Wellington. No, he's born. Only one UK Prime Minister, William Ewart Gladstone, was born in Liverpool. And he served 4 separate terms between 1868 and 1894. He was born on 62 Rodney Street, and lots of us in Liverpool know Rodney Street. It's in the city centre. It's got some beautiful Georgian townhouses along it, Georgian terraces. He was born to Scottish parents. There you go. He's a prominent Liberal Party statement known as the Grand Old Man, the GOM. His parents owned slaves. But, he didn't personally. But I'm sure his family fortune was greatly enhanced by owning slaves. That's why they came to Liverpool, so they could have slaves. Anyway, but yes, Ewart Gladstone was the last and only Scouse Prime Minister. So yeah, Andy Burnham could be our second Scouse Prime Minister. How good would that be? One little fun fact for you, Tinkanator, about Andy Burnham being the Scouse Mayor of Manchester. The town hall in Manchester was designed by a guy called Alfred Waterhouse, who was born in Aigburth in Liverpool. So their town hall was designed by a Scouser. Their mayor, their Metro Mayor, Andy Burnham, is a Scouser. And you'll never guess who they have a statue of outside their town hall. Could it be William Ewart Gladstone, the Scouse Prime Minister? Yes, I think it is, Manchester. What is that? Is that a bit of Scouse envy you've got going on there? Yeah, you get a Scouser to be your mayor. You get a Scouser to design your town hall, which is glorious, by the way. It's a beautiful building. You get a Scouser to do the old, you put a statue of a Scouser outside your town hall. Oh, I love this guy. This guy's boss. Anyway, just pushing the old rivalry between Manx and Scousers. But Tinkanator, thank you so much for the super chat. I feel a bit awkward now because I don't want to take that bet because I agree with you. I think there's a very good chance that Burnham will be the next leader. And I would quite like it. Phil doesn't like Andy Burnham. Maybe you want to take up the bet with with Phil, okay? Or Andy himself. Let's get him on the show. Let's get Andy on the show. That's got to trigger a mega confetti. I don't have a mega confetti set up, but I think I'll do that in future. I love how there's a 10-minute delay in noticing mega chats, like we're all waiting for a reaction. Yeah. Anyway, we didn't get the confetti in the chat though, but we got it on the screen, so that's good. We got there. So, Metro is leading with striker clashes with right winger. See what they've done there? Because Gary Lineker was a striker, and Tommy Robinson is a right wing figure, gobshite, and a winger is the name of a position in round ball, and he can be on the right. Anyway, so there was this picture, as you can see above us, of Gary Lineker with his daughter-in-law, his son's wife, Bella. And there was a clip of him walking along the street with her in Mexico. And Tommy Robinson tweeted, "What's going on here, eh? Hey, what's Gary Lineker up to, eh? With this young woman?" And he's like, "It's my daughter-in-law. We were going to the pharmacy to get some medicine for my son because he wasn't feeling well." Wowzers. That OBR guy, was he a Tory plant? I don't know. He might be. I don't know. Although Saudi Scousers would rather be Manchester than Liverpool. What's the Saudi Scousers? What? Saudi scorers? What? I don't understand. At this stage, I just want Lab to get their shizzle together, not have a leadership challenge and more chaos. Sorry, but it's just messy. Yeah, I agree. Nick and Diff. But I don't know if Starmer's going to survive to the next election. You never know. I'm really excited about getting a hyper chat. That is awesome. So just so you know, it's anything up to 50 quid is a super chat. Mega chat is 50 to 100. Anything over 100 is a hyper chat up to 200 and £200 super chat, which I've only had once or maybe twice before in the history of this channel. I think it was on election night. We got an ultra chat. So anything over 200 quid is an ultra chat, which is just phenomenal. Thank you. Realistically, Burnham probably has broader appeal than Rayner amongst the general public across the country. Yes, I think so, Nick, as well. And also, you know, as much as I love Angela and she's a fellow Northern Ginge, she's part of my tribe. I understand that there are a lot of snobs. There are a lot of fucking snobs in this country. There's a lot of middle-class snobs. There's some working-class snobs as well who won't vote for a woman who has that much of a regional accent. It's as simple as that. I hate it. I hate that that's the case. But there you go. Pete says, my Thims hate me. It's a great comment. Comment of the day. I need to have a comment of the day thing, don't I? I think I'll write that down. Comment of the day as a little animated thing of the day. You know, this is really rickety. This is on a it's on a camp. What are these called? Glasses. It's on a spectacle case, glasses case, which is sitting on top of a stack of books. But there you go. There's a history book. There's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and there's my book, Man of the World, and there's also the Great Brexit Cookbook, which is also there. Lammy was on breakfast this morning. They were grilling him on the no jury stuff. For fuck's sake, talk to a judge or barrister. They're keen on it. My brother-in-law's only concern is we need more magistrates. I know that some judges are against getting rid of the jury thing, and some of them are for it. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to head over to the papers again, right? So we're going to the Daily Express next. Now PM admits seeking closer links to the EU. And then we've got Tracer to fashion icon. Celia's always in style. There it is. Zoe Wanamaker. It's not Zoe Wanamaker. It's not. I think she's interchangeable. And so Keir Starmer has vowed to seek closer ties to the EU. We watched this yesterday live happen. And Fury, as under fire, Starmer claims Brexit deal has significantly hurt our economy. No, dickheads. Right, Express, barely legal. Listen, he's not the one claiming it. It was a bunch of American economists who looked at our economy and said that we took a 7 to 8% hit on our GDP because of Brexit. That's over and above the hit that we took from the credit crunch, from austerity, from COVID, from the fucking mini budget. Yeah. Over and above. Next up, we have the Tory graph here. Reeves clings on as OBR Chief Silence clings on. She's not going anywhere, mate. Shut up. Lammy, victims of court delays, Trump tradition of jury trials. Courts cannot cling onto jury trials for the sake of tradition, David Lammy has said. Yeah. Honestly, there are cases that do not require a jury. Also, something that I would like to see, if you are found guilty of a crime and it's gone through an expensive court process with a jury, I think that should be taken more into consideration. I know it already is taken into consideration. I think it should be taken more into consideration when it comes to sentencing. 10 times the amount of time that you would have spent if you had just pled guilty in the first place. 100 new released from prison by mistake, says Frank. 100 bloody what? Really? Fuck. Frank says, I love regional accents. I'll never change mine to appease others. Yeah, I like them as well, Frank. But the reality is that if I sounded more posh, if I, put my posh voice on and I always sounded like this, people would no longer underestimate me at every opportunity. People would take what I said more seriously. They just would. They would think that I was in control, in command. They would think that I know more about things than I actually do. When I don't, but I do. I kind of do, because I got off my arse and got myself a degree in politics and visited every motherfucking country in the motherfucking world. But I don't like the way this sounds in my mouth. But yeah, I could put on a bland non-accent if I wanted to, and I'd probably get further in life. That is the reality. I've literally been told that I've had a contract for a TV show in America in my hands to present it. 26-part series, travel show. And it was yanked out my hands by the Yanks because of my accent. Because they thought that it'd be too difficult for Americans to understand what I was saying. Carol Vorderman has the picture of Dorian Gray in her attic. She never ages. Yeah. Graham's real accent slipping out again. Yeah. Like a pirate. Wait. Yar, me hearties. I've done jury service once, really enjoyed it, but honestly, I don't understand how some cases go to court. The evidence in some is flaky at best. Yeah. Remember, Carol Vorderman posted she thinks Starmer won't lead Labour at the next election. Graham. Simon's telling me that. Yeah, I agree with her. I met someone who hated Rayner simply because she is a woman with opinions. Yeah, people hate Tansky for the same fucking reason. Oh, you're a woman with opinions? Blah. Only men can have opinions. Carol is a mathematician, not a soothsayer. Colin says, I've done 2 stints of jury service. I've seen at close quarters how incapable people are at grasping the issue, no matter how clearly it's explained to them. Yeah. He talks slowly. To hear his proper Scouser, watch on 2 times. Well, I'm torn between old Scouts from the 1960s, which sounded more brummy to me when you listen to the Beatles talk on Hard Day's Night. It's all at the back of the throat like this. But as things went on, it started again more and more nasal, especially in like Brookside and that. And things got really guttural when people started going all the time with the and the like they were like, I don't know, German or Hebrew speakers or something. It's all like hey and this and always hacking up a logie. And never like that. Talk through your nose, hack up a logie. Anyway, where was I? Oh, we were looking at the papers, weren't we? God, get back on target. Stay on target. Council houses worth more than 2 million spurred from property tax. Council houses worth more than 2 million was spurred from Rachel Reeves' property tax. I don't know how that works. Peeps cancelled over abusive behaviour. What English foreign tongue for 1 in 3 Glasgow pupils. Don't reward Putin, Zelensky tells Trump. And BP abandons green energy plant in the UK. And then we've got Paddington on stage up here, shelling out for the bare necessities. And the day out for the must-see Paddington the musical. I think he looks a bit scary. Do you not think he looks a bit scary? Like his eyes are a bit like a doll's eyes. I don't know. He has his father's eyes. OBR chief forced out after contradicting Chancellor over budget black hole. No, he was forced out because they released the fucking OBR figures before they were supposed to. That's why he was forced out. And anyway, he jumped on it. He dived on his sword. He resigned. He wasn't sacked. He wasn't forced out. He resigned. Treasury furious that UK budget watchdog had appeared to challenge Rachel Reeves' version of events. The OBR's accidental leak of the budget could have been survivable for Chair Richard Hughes, no relation, but sources tell the iPaper, but it's his relationship with the Treasury tanked after he undermined the Chancellor's account. Fair enough. But, we could just ignore the OBR completely because that's what Liz Truss did. Okay, now we're going to head over to The Guardian where Timothy Chalamet smashes it in Marty Supreme. It's a new movie that's come out called Marty Supreme. OBR chief quits after inquiry into early release of budget documents. Damning report calls leak the worst failure in the Watchdog's history. It absolutely is. The Watchdog's only been around for 10 years, hasn't it? How old's the Is the OBR like an ancient fucking institution? The office, it was founded in May 2010. There you go. So it's been around for 15 years. An august institution that has been around for 15 long years. Okay. And I never in the history of this august institution have we had a situation like this. There you go. Back to the papers. NHS to pay 25% more for drugs, new drugs in US trade deal. The US has agreed to pay 25% more for new medicines by 2025 as part of the US-UK drug deal pricing that will cost the Treasury or NHS up to an estimated additional $3 billion a year. Yay, thanks Trump, you twat. And then we've got Tulip Siddiq, Bangladesh court sentences Labour to 2 years, Labour MP into 2 years in jail. This is phenomenal. So her auntie was the prime minister, the ousted prime minister of Bangladesh, and she's been sentenced to death in absentia. She's actually living in India at the moment, and Bangladesh doesn't have a proper extradition treaty with the UK, and so she's not going to be her niece Tulip Siddiq is not going to be extradited. But these do appear to be politically driven charges, and you know, she was tried in absentia, and yeah, it's you know, it's the situation, you know. Nick who was asking about Graham, Sarah was asking, will there be a New Year's Politics Social special so we can see in the new year together? No, I don't think so. I think we're going to be here in Durham, and the girls are going to have their mates round, so I think it would be a bit antisocial for me to do a politics social special. If maybe next year or something, I decide to meet up with our politics social friends somewhere for New Year, then I'll do what I did on election night and have like a roundup of the year with our friends and stuff like that. I will do a show. It just won't go over midnight because, well, yeah, it will be a little bit inappropriate, I think, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. Depends how the party's getting on. The kids would drive me up the fucking wall. I might just hide away. I might just do a special show from my bedroom. Barbie went brunette. Oh, it's Tulip Siddiq. What? Says Nick in chat. We had a guy at work from Bristol. He got called Kieran the Pirate and Shakirian. I like that. What I mean is Devonian is more farmer than pirate. It's really hard. It's not really heard so much on TV today. Most political commentators for EG are more northern than us, including Kent and Londinium. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely try and do a show on Christmas Day. Okay. I'll try and do a quick show in the morning. I'll be at my parents for Christmas Day because I'm celebrating it with my mum and dad. It's always a bit difficult, isn't it, when you've got a parent who is very, very, very ill, and you don't want to miss these opportunities to spend time with them. And my dad's non-verbal. He's got advanced dementia. He can't move by himself. He can't speak. He's, you know, it's sad. But at the same time, you know, I don't want to lose my opportunities to spend these occasions with him while he's still with us. So I'll be in Liverpool for Christmas. I'll be back here for New Year. Yeah, I don't know. I just I'll definitely do a show on Christmas Day. I'll probably do a Christmas brew at 9 o'clock in the morning, as long as I'm not too hungover from going to Lark Lane the night before. If any Scousers out there want to meet or sit over Christmas, I will be in Liverpool for a few days over Christmas, so give us a shout. I'll be in Lark Lane. You'll see me at the end having a drink. But yeah, so yeah, possibly hungover, 9 o'clock, Christmas Day, Christmas brew. And on New Year, I will be doing a show, New Year's Eve. And then I'll be in the evening, probably about like 6 to 7 o'clock, something like that. And then we'll be doing a show on New Year's Day. Looking forward to the year ahead. Anyway, one more story that I want to just point out in The Guardian here, just above me. Attorney General calls for Farage to apologise. The UK's top lawyer, one of the most senior Jewish government ministers, has urged, I didn't know we had the Jewish government, has urged Nigel Farage to apologise to contemporaries who claim the refuck leader racially abused them while at school. I've got the Financial Times here with some actual news in there. We've got flood zone cyclones kill 1,000 people in Asia. This is fucking insane. These are cyclones that have hit across the Indian Ocean, all the way from Sri Lanka to Indonesia. Heavy windfall, heavy rainfall, flooding, landslides, and 1 million people have been evacuated from their homes so far. Maybe more to come as a result of this extreme weather that is caused by climate change. Saw a shocking report yesterday in the on CNN about the water crisis in Iran, which we've mentioned a few times. Might mention it again tonight on Geoscope with Ollie at 7:30 if you want to join me for that. It's shocking. There's a reservoir in Iran which is down to 3%. 3%. And big cities like Mashhad and Tehran, they might have to evacuate because there's no water. I'll go the log lane, the Albert. Yeah, we'll go the Albert. Go at the back. I'll sit there under in the beer garden with the heaters on. It'll be good. Farage, I'll see you there, Martin. Farage will not apologise. That should speak volumes to his stupid followers. Yeah. And he said it would be nice if they were competent enough to actually have a plan set out. It would indeed. I'll be there for the Christmas Day stream. Got nothing on, says Galafema. We'll come and join us, and we'll have special. We'll have a special day where everyone in the chat can join in the Discord server afterwards if you want to chat on Christmas Day this year. And you're very welcome to join the gang over there. So just let us know. We'll sort that out on the day. Nick chat says 2017 to 2019 Starmer, the benefits of the single market are crucial and have always been crucial to Labour. 2015 Starmer, Brexit has been a disaster, but not enough to draw my headlines. Yes, Nick. I agree. We're all remoaners here, mate. Yeah, I think that they have to play this game. I hate this game they've got to play, but they've got to get people on side. It's no good if Starmer turned around tomorrow and said we're rejoining the single market. I mean, you've seen what the papers are like, and lots of people, lots of voters read the papers. You know, older people mostly, but you know they read the papers. You've seen what they were like, and the run up to this referendum, run up to this budget, where they were saying, "Oh, Rachel Reeves, she's coming for us. She's got to put 2 pence on income tax." Rah! And then she didn't, and then they were like, she lied. She said she was going to put 2 pence on income tax, and she didn't. Like, she never said that. You said that. She said the economy is in the shit, which it is. By any fucking measure, it is in the shit. Our economy did not grow for 15 years. For 15 fucking years, our economy did not grow. It was at $3 trillion in 2008. And then 15 years later, in 2023, it was still at $3 trillion. What do you want? What do you want? After all those years of Tory government, Brexit, austerity, COVID, the mini fucking budget, UK GDP. Here we go. Look, here we go. Economy of the United Kingdom. Why is that not coming up? Normally it comes up with a little animated chart that allows me to move things. Why are you not? It usually has an interactive graph. They got rid of the interactive. Oh, Google. Oh, this is the shitification of everything, isn't it? What the? France GDP. Oh my god. You used to be able to go on Google and it would give an interactive chart and you could slide up and down it and pick a date, pick a year, and it would tell you what the economy was like. Oh, man. UK GDP Overtime interactive. Okay. Our world in data. Is that going to allow me to actually move things along? No. No. Oh, for fuck's sake. This is very annoying. Overtime interactive in US dollars, please. Macro trends. Why am I going to these mad fucking sites here? Okay, so yeah. 2007. So did I say 2008? 2007. Yeah. The GDP in US dollars of the United Kingdom was 3.091 trillion. So 3.09. So let's say 3.1, right? And then it went down to 2.4. And then it went up until 2014 when it was at 3.06, not 3.09, but 3.06. So still lower than it was in 2007. And then it went down and it went down again. Brexit kept it at 2.68 trillion, 2.85. In 2020, it was 2.69. Then it leapt up. It leapt up in 2021 to 3.1 trillion. And then it went down a little bit in 2022 to 3.114 trillion. So from 2007 to 2022, our economy did not grow at all. In US dollars, our economy didn't grow for 15 motherfucking years. 2007 to 2022. It's now growing. The data I've got from 2013 shows that the economy had risen to 3.38 trillion, and it's gone up since then as well. In 2024, it went up again, and in 2025, it's going to go up again, quite substantially. Actually. Try incognito, Graham. Ooh, well, I got a graph in the end. I got one in the end. But yeah, if I just move this over, I think I could do something very clever here. Instead of just hoping that you'll be able to fucking see this, I can actually make it so you can see it. There you go. Look, that's the graph I was talking about. Thank God, this is better. This is much better. Go away, IQ advert. You can see here all the economy dating back to 1960. Okay, dating back to 1960. You see all the years, and this is the one I'm interested in because this is the first time Labour were in power in my lifetime. 1997. Bump. Oh, it went down a little bit in 2001. Bump, but then it keeps going up. Oh my God, look at this. Look at that. 3.091 trillion. And then it goes, credit crunch, off a cliff, Brexit, off a cliff, COVID, off a cliff, and it isn't till 2022, and we're at 3.1 again. So 3.1 here, almost, 3.09, and then 3.1. 15 years. 15 years of just no fucking growth. Thanks for that, Brexit. Thanks for that, Tories. Thanks for that. Fucking austerity, you bastards. Fucking Brexit. So yeah, when Rachel Reeves said that the economy's in the shit, she weren't wrong. She were not wrong. Okay, so over to the papers again. Revolut failed to tell bank watchdogs that Chief was listed as UAE resident. Not great. And we've also got, let's see what else. Early leader OpenAI feels the heat as rivals close in on the AI war. The AI bubble that is going to pop at some moment. And Andrew formally stripped of last remaining royal titles. I didn't even know he had any left. So it was covered by the Politics Social strap. And then Starmer, we didn't mislead anyone on Budget Black Hole. We watched that yesterday. And then some, I don't know, underwear. Does anyone want to buy some underwear? What's this Christmas you'll speak of? It's a pagan festival that was co-opted by Christians, just like Easter. there's a midwinter festival where people said, oh, it's a bit miserable in the middle of winter. I know. Let's have some kind of festival, some festivities where you put sparkly lights on things and give each other presents. And then the Christians came along to Northern Europe and went, what's this Christmas thing you've got going on? Oh, well, it's not quite Christmas, but we can call it Christmas from now on. And we will co-opt it and we'll say it is the month that our baby Jesus was born. When actually, reading from the Bible, it does look like baby Jesus was probably born in March, not in December the 25th. But you got to tell a story. You got to tell a story. I love it when you see nativity scenes and they have snow. They have snow in the nativity scenes in the Middle East. Were they up a mountain? I don't know. One Are You Pagan? I may be in the 32, but my favourite singer died before I was born, Freddie Mercury, and my favourite Doctor Who is Tom Baker. I'm not very representative of my age group. No, Tom Baker's the greatest doctor. He's a Scouse doctor as well. I'm talking of, Scousers controlling things like the TARDIS. You can pile into my flat for Christmas, roasting venison, attempting to make gravy, and going to have an emergency pizza in stock for when it all goes wrong. So the trick is with gravy, if you want to make gravy from scratch, and I might be teaching you how to suck eggs here, cook the meat, whatever it is, venison or whatever, then take the meat out the roasting dish, and you should have hopefully you've put oil on the venison. You need to put like oil on the lamb or whatever it is you're cooking, or the chicken. And take the meat out, put that to one side, and then you want to make that you want to heat that up a bit, that oil that's in it, all the oil and the juices, you want to heat that up a little bit, and then get some flour, and then you put that in, and you get the back of a fork, and you mix it all in so it's nice and makes kind of like a gloopy thing, right? Gloopy. But it shouldn't have little balls of flour in it. If it's got little balls of flour, add a little bit more oil and allow the flour to actually become sort of thicken it up, thickened. You want a nice smooth thickened thing, and then you throw in your stock cubes, and then you take the water from your vegetables that you've boiled and you pour that in to the gravy bit by bit, and then once you put the water in, don't put any more flour in. If it's too thick at that point, use corn. Is it cornstarch? You just get some cold water and you zip that up in a cup, and then you pour that in, and that'll make it a bit thicker. But I don't like thickening gravy with cornstarch because it gives it this kind of weird texture that I don't like. It's this mouth feel. Why am I telling you how to make gravy? I don't know. That's how I make my gravy anyway. But yeah, fond are the bits in the roasting tray. Indeed, cooking with Graham. Another useless fact. So Saturnalia is an anagram of Australian. Woo! Saturnalia. If you want to make veggie gravy, okay. Top tip is what you want to do is your peelings, right? Just boil them. Boil your peelings, and you get to make some really good stock, some vegetable stock that you can use as your base for your veggie gravy. Obviously, if your potatoes have got literal soil on them, maybe not. But if you're peeling your parsnips and your carrots and your potatoes, throw all them in the pot and boil them, and you'll make some really nice veggie stock. Graham's releasing his inner Jamie Oliver again. Yeah. Potato water is starchy, so thickens gravy. Yep. So your veggie water that you've used to parboil your potatoes, keep that water. What I normally do is parboil my potatoes for 12 to 15 minutes on the stove before putting them in the oven in hot oil. You got to heat the oil up. Obviously, goose fat is the best, but we don't always have that, so just sunflower oil will do. But heat it up first. Strain out your keep the water that you've boiled the potatoes in, because it's nice and starchy, and boil the vegetables in that same water. So pour out one pan into the other, and then you've got a pan of starchy water. Use that for your rest of your vegetables, and then put that in the gravy. Works every time. And then when you're doing your potatoes, put the lid on the pot and give them a shake when they're parboiled, and that sort of breaks them up a little bit. That's a good little plan. And then put that take out the sizzling oil that you've done in a pan full of oil that you've had in the oven, and then just put the potatoes in there. Make sure they're covered, and then throw them in the oven for like 7 hours. So they're nice and crispy on the outside and fluffy in the middle. Remember to turn them over halfway. Roast dinners with Graham Hughes. I plan on making gluten-free red wine and onion gravy. I've got the ingredients and the plan, just not the courage. Do it. Do it, Gallifreyan Ren. You know, you can practice beforehand. That's always a good idea. Because if you make the gravy the day before, then you can just reheat it the next day. I have the recipe, not the confidence. Just do it. Just go for it. Just go for it. And goodness, is it just under the skin of veg? So using peeling is excellent. Goodness is just under the skin of the veg, so peeling is excellent. Yeah. But I mean, there you go. No chance of Graham's inner naked chef coming out. Durham's far too cold. It is far too cold, Nick, and I wouldn't want you to get the wrong idea. It's really cold here. I'm just tell you now, Scott wouldn't be impressed. Maybe if it came down to London, it's a lot warmer down there. Anyway, so oh Christ, I've just gone back to the papers because I thought we had more papers to do, but we don't, do we? We've done them. We've done them. Thank God, Nick, says Martin. Oh, thanks, mate. Anyway, Martin, I'll see you in the Albert in the back garden in the Albert out the back. Christmas Eve, Lark Lane. Let's do it. I might be wearing a different hat, one that covers my ears. Depends how cold it is. But it'll still be me. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. Graham, don't channel Gordon Ramsay, you'll get demonetized. What are you? I'm an idiot sandwich. I love that sketch. Thanks very much for watching. And thank you so much to Tinkanator 40 for that £100 hyper chat. That is just phenomenal. Thank you so much. And yes, I absolutely agree that Wes Streeting is probably not going to win because no one likes him because he's just got a face like a balloon that someone's scrawled a face on with Sharpie marker. Deluded balloon face bastard. Anyway, breaking news. Cricketer Robin Smith dies at 62. Oh, that's sad. All right then. Well, I'm going to go before anyone else dies. I'll be back at 7:30 tonight for Geoscope with Ollie Bowler Hatman, the mysterious Yorkshireman of Yorkshire fame. So we'll be going over. I was going to say the other side of the Pennines, but it's the same side of the Pennines as me because I live in Durham. So we're going to be going south. Going south for me. We always go south for me. Thanks again, everyone. Have a good day, guys. Take care and stay warm. Ta-ta for now, folks. That's from Diz. See you later, Diz. And before the rest of you go, give us a like. You know you want to. Go on. Just give us a quick like. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit the bell notification if you haven't already done so. Please do those things. It really helps. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thanks so much, Tinkanator. That was really kind of you. Thanks for everyone who's been really lovely in the chat today. And thank you to Hans Gruber for slowly falling out of the window to his eventual doom on Christmas Day. And until 7:30 tonight, or 9 o'clock tomorrow, if you're going to join us for Morning Brew in the morning, I'll say thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.